means going from here, means finding me, losing me, vanishing and beginning again, a stranger at first, and then little by little, the same as always, in another place. Or I should say, I hope it's
born. Well, he was just here.
Okay, now if you don't come, you're really picky.
Rajat, we know you're here. Okay, we'll give Rajat another chance in a few minutes, so we're inviting Joël Kastelitz, the authors of the second film in the program, Laws of Nature.
Well, that's a very interesting story. Actually, I didn't think of that, but my friend, who is a student of law, gave me those books because she said they are too old and a few laws changed, so they are useless. And so I said, okay, give them to me, I will use them in animation. And first I didn't think of using the actual books and laws as a part of my animation, but then I found the story. So first the books came to me and then I found the story.
Do you have maybe something similar story or reason for Slovenian constitution?
Yeah, all the books in this animation are from my friend. But actually this story was designed before all of this started to happen in Slovenia. So I didn't have any thoughts on this happening, political happening. I think the meaning of the animation is wider. Like, my message was that the laws that the people made up that don't give us a false feeling of control over everything, and there are still the laws of the nature there that are above everything.
Just another question about the motives in the film, because you have the stop motion and then so drawn animation as well in the books, where we see the motif of a person and a bird. And birds were the protagonists of your previous animation, The Feathers That Smell of the Sea. So is there any relation?
Maybe it is because I got used of this animating cycling of a bird. No, just kidding. Yes, I think I just like birds. That's not a special motive, maybe. But I would also like to say that this bird, which is in stop motion, is made from pieces that my dog bite. Like the book she broke apart are a part of this bird, and I didn't like cut or broke these pieces anymore. I just put them together. So my dog is the artist.
Congratulations to him as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
So some people can't see what they could feel. A blind man could feel something and tell you what it is without seeing it. Because feeling is a part of life. Without pain,
The harbor is super smart harbor, it's fully automated, and they are the last people who do the physical work there, and really in extreme weather every day at nights and days. And so it was really interesting to explore this question together with them, to explore this, how our bodies sense the environment. So we were basically performing Buto, Feldenkrais, deep listening exercises with them, and I don't know, like they just trusted me and my friend who helped me develop these choreographies, and I don't know, I was really lucky with these guys too. They were totally on board. Yeah. So, yeah, I really wanted to, as I said, into that invisible potential of the harbor, like how do you visualize something that we cannot see but we feel in our bodies? When I go to the harbor and take a walk, I get a headache. And it's very intense, it's full of really intense, terrible smells. And so, and of course there are also animals. There are a lot of animals inside in that area. It's as big areas between Ljubljana and Tržič. And I really wanted to bring also in the film cinematic language, like the experience of animals, but of course that's impossible. That would be kind of anthropocenic perspective. And but I wanted to do it in a subtle way. They are there, present, and it's also interesting that with lashers, with these workers, they are the first ones who encounter animals who come from faraway places on the ships. So when they work, they sometimes encounter spiders or even monkeys. There was also a monkey in one of the shots, or like it happens that these are kind of stories.
Okay, thank you and congratulations on the film again.
So I'm interested, what did they do to trigger you to make you this movie, or maybe some general experience like with dealing with European bureaucracy that made you make this movie?
It's a longish story, but I was messing around with the local popo a lot. They have this super Hungarian police. It was during the time of this, what Europe calls the migration crisis. There was this huge influx of migrants and there was a lot of racial profiling, so I was getting stopped a lot. But I was one of these privileged legal migrants. I had my papers with me all the time, so I had made a lot of mess with the police. And unfortunately, at some point, I lost my passport. Being careless as I am, I lost my passport and my visa, and it changed everything for like the Hungarian police. And then I was a couple of weeks at the immigration and at their immigration office, and yeah. I mean, not to pull down the vibe of everybody, but that was quite a depressing episode, because suddenly being without a visa with this really racial profiling Hungarian police and the Hungarian immigration really made me question a lot, because I had to get a new passport and a new visa. For this I had to prove I'm myself. For this I had to prove my mother is my mother. For this I had to prove she's married to my father who's my father, and my home is my home. And then it became this loophole, you know. You didn't know where to start. Like, to prove I'm me, I had to prove that this, it became this unfulfillable cycle, and eventually, I cannot say for legal reasons what I had to do, but I had to take some radical measures to get out of there. I cannot say it out loud, sorry. Everything was legal though.
And you took some...
Yeah, it was all legal. Everything. I didn't break no law of the beautiful European Union at all. At no given point in time and space.
Legalize it.
Yes. Abolish it.
And so with you are two of the animators, because you took some radical decisions also in the animation, which combines so many different approaches, because we see some stop motion, some Monty Python-esque animation and so on, and there's this big crew actually behind the film that helped you out. Maybe you can give a shout out or present.
I mean, it's very personal, but it wouldn't be possible without Anya, Mary, Julia, Melina, I don't know, Radu. It's like, this is something which took like 3 years, like from the first point where Hungarian immigration made me question my existence, made me question if I'm real or not, to the point where this film was finished. It was 3 or longer than 3 years, and during this time I collaborated with one of the most beautiful animators, crew, people I could come across. And that's why it's really radical, the whole stuff with the animation, because
it was all different people with their different styles, and it was fun collaborating with them because it was like the synthesis. I came with my idea and they had their own, and then we were like, woo, let's try to figure out where we all kind of find a parallel ground. So yeah, it's really a collaborative project, and it wouldn't be possible without Asya, Anya, Julia, Mary, so on and on and on, and Radu and everybody who couldn't make it here today.
Perfect. So congratulations to the whole team, and thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I mean, the idea came out from just a normal exercise when I was creating something. So I used my body and I drew the lines. And then when we had to pitch some idea for diploma film, I came up with this, why not do something like that, something on the body.
And the full frontal nudity is quite uncommon, I would say, in the Slovenian contemporary short films, at least. Maybe even compared to, I don't know, so 30, 40, 50 years ago, I think it was more subversive in this way. So how would you comment on that, and how was it working in this fashion, let's say? Does it bring a new intimacy together with the protagonists, or some awkward moments, or just, yeah, could you comment on that?
I mean, I think that the bodies in the film didn't give the feeling of any awkwardness. And also the body was more used as some kind of nature, so environment.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for the film.
Can I also say something? So in the film you saw that the heads were like off. So I guess there was some problem with the projection, otherwise the format is more square. So we didn't decide to do some kind of weird style where the head should be cut off. Yeah.
Sorry for that. Maybe we'll rescreen it on Friday, just in proper format. Okay, thank you. And last but not least, we're inviting Kukla, the directress of Sisters.
So
I'm very nervous. This is not very typical of me.
We all are.
Okay.
Of course, congratulations.
Thank you.
First for winning the Clermont-Ferrand with Sisters. You mentioned in, I don't know, in at least one interview that you referred to this to the phenomena of virginas, which they are located like in Kosovo, Albania, in some regions. So I'm interested how is this creative process, or where were like the bigger challenges with fusing this virgina tradition with these urban young girls that we see here?
That's my voice. Actually, I think you kind of answered your own question. I mean, yeah, I was inspired by the sworn virgins, or how we call it, virgina, the phenomena, which is mainly from Kosovo, Albania, Montenegro, and some parts of Macedonia as well, probably of Serbia. So the women took on the male role if there were not enough men born, or if they just simply killed each other that much. So yeah, I don't know, I just somehow, this idea came from the music video for the local band Georgia Thoughts, and even there I put them, like, I wrote about this, like, 3 modern contemporary sworn virgins, and I put them in an urban environment, and it was really interesting that the actresses that I found were actually quite, let's say, resonating with the characters. So I kind of found, maybe not totally like the sworn virgins, but in some detail or in some dimension, a sworn virgin in our urban world.
And since you mentioned the Your Gay Thoughts music video, of course we all know you're also a music video director and quite successful, especially the last few years. You're working with big names in the Balkans and so on. But I was wondering, because the film also it's underlined with several scenes that are let's say directed in music video fashion. Music plays a big role, and also one of the actresses, she's also a singer, right? Sakaraya?
Yeah, she's a rapper, yeah.
And so I was wondering, how is it a rational decision on which scenes to underline with this music video aesthetics?
The thing is that maybe, I don't know if like everybody knows now, but I made music before I had a career in music. I mean, an alternative one. And it's okay. No, this is so pathetic. No, but I'm really influenced by music. It's a big part of my life. It is as big as film is. So for me, music personally doesn't just play this role of, painting the atmosphere with the sound, but the sound is actually like the fourth character, main character, or it works as commentary as well, not just like the atmospheric part of the film. So a lot of the songs that I put in were actually comments on how we live and where we live in. I'm always interested in this, like the hybrid between the music video and the fiction film. So now when we're working on the feature film Fantasy, which this was a study for, I mean it's a standalone film, but it was also a study, I'm really interested, I'm going in that direction to make some kind of a hybrid between those two. And about the question, is it rational or irrational? I think sound is a very irrational thing, but then you have to turn on some rationality, is that a word? To make it, to make sense in some way. But I think it's better to not make sense. To be irrational. That's maybe a bit more rational. Okay.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so this was FeKK SLO slot 2. Thank you all for coming and welcome to join us tomorrow when we'll be back with the international competition here on the Muzejska Ploščad and with Vienna Shorts, the first program of our guest festival. And of course, welcome to join us in Kino Dvor at 4 for EFA Shorts 3 and for Stefan Kruse Jorgensen, our author in focus short films at the